Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning. My name is Tylene Henry. I have the honor to serve as the National President of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. And it is a pleasure to gather with each of you today. Thank you for coming because you could have been anywhere else, but you've chosen to be here with us. At NABWIC, our mission is to champion and create opportunities for Black women and as well represent all underrepresented voices in construction and related industries. These luncheons are designed to connect our members, partners, and stakeholders, as well as decision makers and agencies who are driving the future of infrastructure. Today, we're so excited to shine a spotlight on transformative opportunities in transit. We're fortunate to have with us leaders from the North Carolina Department of Transportation, as well as Broward County, Florida Transit, two agencies that are deeply committed to innovation, equity, and community impact. Their projects represent not only billion-dollar investments, but also pathways for diverse businesses to participate and grow. As we begin, I encourage you to listen and engage, as well as think about how your expertise, resources, and networks can align with opportunities presented today. NABWIC exists to ensure that when billion-dollar projects are on the table, our members, partners, and community stakeholders have a seat and a voice. After all, we are the voice of Black women in construction. Please make sure that your name is showing in the participant window. We encourage you to share your name, your business, as well as contact information in the chat. You will have an opportunity to connect with others during our breakout session. And now I'd love to introduce our founder and fearless leader, Ms. Ann McNeil, who's also the owner of MCO Construction, to share our invocation today.
Thank you so very much, Tylene. Let us pray. Can you mute this, please? All heads bowed. Got that? All heads bowed. All eyes closed. All hearts open. Oh, Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you today giving you praise, honor, and glory for the breath. Lord, such a little bitty thing, but oh my goodness, how so very important. Lord, we thank you for blessing us with the breath of life. Lord, you tell us that you've come to give us life abundantly, and we thank you for it. Lord, we thank you for the mission, the vision, and the provision for this organization, the National Association of Black Women in Construction. Lord, we thank you for every spirit that you have drawn, those who are on the way, and those who cannot make it for whatever the reason. Lord, we lift up a very special prayer for our Woman in Spotlight and each presenter and every single person that is here today. We thank you for them and the time they're willing to invest in us as we lift, as we climb. Lord, these and all things we do continue to ask and pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that beautiful word of prayer. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our all of our members that are here to support today's virtual event. Would like to also thank Victoria with Virtual Tide, our Zoom producer. We thank each and every individual that's here to support this event, as well as to participate as a guest. So again, thank you. Now, we'd like to move to our sponsorship recognition. The National Association of Black Women in Construction is a 100% volunteer-led organization. We do not have paid staff, and so we truly appreciate and value the sponsorship of our supporters. So we would like to thank MCO Construction and Services for being the sponsor of our virtual $1 billion luncheon today. If we have a member of the MCO team that would like to bring forth a greeting.
Tylene, on behalf of MCO Construction and the founder of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to sponsor this event. And I just want to thank everybody for joining to be able to hear our presenters and our Women in Spotlight today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank the chair of our virtual $1 billion transit luncheon, Mia Ferguson, as well as the virtual $1 billion luncheon transit planning team. We have a phenomenal group of leaders and members within this organization that never turn their backs away from ensuring that we're able to conduct phenomenal events like this flawlessly. So again, thank you to each and every individual that supported the planning of this luncheon. And I would like to now introduce Margaret Gashlin, who is the owner of JMP Group. She will be introducing greetings from our industry partner.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Margaret Gashlin with the JMP Group, as well as president of the South Florida chapter of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. And it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Naji Kirby. As Managing Director, Strategic Initiatives and Stakeholder Engagement, Ms. Naji Kirby plays a pivotal role in leading COMTO's strategic advisory services, major programs, and stakeholder engagement efforts. As a key member of the executive leadership team, she ensures the alignment of COMTO's programs with its mission, values, and strategic objectives while fostering strong connections with chapters, members, and partners. She plays an integral role in the organization's impact and success in advancing equity within the transportation industry. Naji previously served as COMTO's Chief of Staff, providing high-level support to COMTO's President and CEO, ensuring the efficient and effective execution of organizational strategies, programs, and initiatives. Prior to joining COMTO, Naji has served in various leadership positions where she worked on local and national initiatives focused on the safety of vulnerable populations. Naji has extensive experience in establishing and nurturing key stakeholder relationships across diverse sectors, including community organizations, federal, state, and local government, as well as public and private partnerships. Please join me in introducing Ms. Naji Kirby. Thank you.
Thank you. I will try to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? I'm good to go? All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Ms. Ann McNeil and President Henry, for the opportunity to share a few words today about COMTO on behalf of our President and CEO, April Rye. COMTO is a 53-year-old organization that Secretary Buttigieg calls the voice of equity in transportation. We are driven by the belief that transportation is a great connector, connecting people to opportunities, to employment, to loved ones, and to life. And for this to remain true, the leadership, decision makers, suppliers, and service providers must reflect the communities served. So the word minority in Conference of Minority Transportation Officials includes all underutilized and underrepresented groups. That's ethnicities, gender, age, ability, orientation, and diversity in lived experience. So our mission is to really ensure opportunities and maximum participation in the industry for minority individuals, veterans, people with disabilities, and certified MWDBE businesses through leadership training, professional development, scholarship, and internship funding, political advocacy, partnership building, and networking opportunities. So COMTO started back in 1971 at Howard University and has grown to 40 chapters across North America. Our membership is made up of over 3,000 agencies, organizations, MWDBE firms, and professionals across various modes of the transportation industry. COMTO is dedicated to building on its rich history of serving the industry by advocating for the underrepresented and helping our agency members bring their equity, diversity, and inclusion goals to life, including supporting the efforts to engage and contract equitably with MWDBEs across this multimodal, multi-billion-dollar industry. So we have, as part of our organization, a special membership category specifically for hubs or historically underutilized businesses. And you qualify in that category if you have gross sales or billings $250,000 or less annually and are minority-owned, women-owned, certified disadvantaged, veteran, or owned by a person with a disability. So in addition to joining NABWIC, why should you consider joining COMTO as an MWDBE? So our hub members have the opportunity to showcase their capabilities, share in our advocacy efforts for equitable contracting opportunities, enjoy elevated national marketing and development opportunities. And in addition, COMTO works really from the top down, supporting our agencies with intentionality and engaging MWDBEs, making strategic connections and engaging community stakeholders on large-scale projects to create a truly inclusive culture. And specifically more of the tangible benefits. You have 2 company representatives as members, a standing seat on our National Hub Advocacy Committee, and again, marketing opportunities at our national conference, complimentary exhibit space at our virtual career fair, and also new last year we started is subsidizing an intern from part of our city internship program. So that's just to name a few. COMTO also enjoys engagement with the US DOT on exploring workforce development and workforce readiness programs in support of our MWDBE firms. This year, we held our 53rd National Meeting and Training Conference in Houston, Texas. And despite Hurricane Beryl, we had over 800 participants that gathered around the theme of transportation equity meeting the moment. There, we welcomed transportation leaders from the US DOT and agencies to answer questions in MWDBE support, programs, and funding. All through the year, we also hold programming specifically for our business owners. A few highlights we've had over the years are that we had Secretary Buttigieg address COMTO members, a specific meeting with Administrator Bowes. We had a webinar with Colette Holt around what you need to know about the legal landscape for DBE programs. We had some around COVID-19, tax implications, successful business development and writing, and then we had a Doing Business With series that included featuring LA Metro, MTA, and others. And lastly, I'll just mention the Equity and Infrastructure Project, which we all know co-founded by Phil Washington, where the project goals include increasing the number, size, and proportion of contracting opportunities for hubs, creating more hubs as prime contractors, increasing the amount of type of appropriate financing. So COMTO continues to work with the Equity Infrastructure Project leadership to provide technical assistance and to document and disseminate project mechanisms, outcomes, and best practices for transportation agencies in the delivery and sustainability of their programs. So again, thank you very much for having me. COMTO, as well as NABWIC, is a wonderful organization to consider membership with as we partner to ensure equitable access to contracting opportunities and a safe, accessible transportation system for all. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate Compto's collaboration and support over the years. Want to encourage everyone, we'll be sharing information about membership to with the National Association of Black Women in Construction. We'll say that the majority of our members are growing business owners, and we are seeking opportunities to actually participate with some of these capital improvement projects that we bring to you via these virtual billion-dollar luncheons. And a part of the value of being a member of NABWIC is having your finger on the pulse with organizations such as Compto, as well APTA. I had the opportunity as a result of a relationship with one of our members, Miss Angela Berry Roberson, which I will be bringing up shortly, to participate in part of an APTA conference that was here in Detroit, Michigan. And again, one of the benefits of being a member and serving within this organization is being able to have connections to these agencies and to these organizations that are championing legislation as well as championing inclusion within the various industries in which we serve. So again, we want to thank Compto for their ongoing support. As well, we truly appreciated the opportunity to participate in the Transportation Brain Trust, which occurs at the Congressional Black Caucus each year. We'll be sharing in the chat our reception, which will be on September 24th in Washington, D.C., which is a great opportunity to connect with NABWIC as well as Compto during that Transportation Brain Trust, which will happen during the annual legislative conference. So at this time, I would love to introduce Ms. Angela Berry Roberson. She is the owner of ABR Advisory Consultants, LLC, and she will be introducing our Woman in Spotlight. Angela?
Hi, thank you, Tylene. I appreciate that. Actually, I am doing the business of NABWIC right now. We are at a conference, but we are so glad to welcome our leader in the spotlight today. MJ and I worked together on WTS, and so we are proud to have her here today. MJ Menard-Carey is the Chief Executive Officer of the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada, what RTC, the only agency nationwide that is responsible for public transportation, traffic management, roadway and construction funding, and the regional transportation planning, all under one roof. That's a lot. Recognizing that mobility shapes our communities and our economies. MJ proudly leads RTC as a connector of the region's business sector. It's more than 2.3 million residents, as well as the 40+ million annual visitors on a regular basis. She is passionate about building and sustaining transportation systems as with a robust roadway network and effective public transit that connects the Las Vegas Valley, improves air quality, and creates economic opportunities for people and businesses. Now, MJ is a longtime Southern Nevada resident and a proud graduate of the University of Nevada at Las Vegas. Considered a national leader and a trusted voice of transportation industry, she serves on several national committees and organizations and is a national leader and trusted voice in transportation. Actually, she currently serves as the current chair of the American Public Transportation Association, which is APTA. Her 18-year transportation experience and 25-year hospitality experience help ensure that Southern Nevada continues to build a world-class, sustainable, and multimodal transportation system to meet the region's ever-changing and ever-growing needs. So join us, and thank you, MJ, for recognizing MJ Menard-Carey, the CEO of RTC of Southern Nevada. Thank you, MJ, for being with us today.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's always a little uncomfortable when someone goes on more than a minute about your background, but I'm old enough that I do have a long work history.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting. I did. I started in hospitality and had an opportunity to join the RTC now in my 19th year. And it sort of came full circle. I came from a pretty scrappy background, came from a family that couldn't afford a car, couldn't afford a lot of things. And so I grew up in Seattle, Washington, dependent on public transportation or finding friends say, I need a ride here, I need a ride to work, that sort of thing. And I certainly had to have an appreciation for the importance of mobility, and that it's not just about folks that can't afford a car. It is about opportunities, right? It's about ensuring that employees get to where they work. I think people are always surprised in Southern Nevada. We're a very car-centric community, but we operate the 12th busiest bus system in the U.S. And as a result, 80% of our 160,000 daily boardings are just hardworking folks getting to work. But as previously, as you heard, we're also the roadway funding agency. And with that, we really are the sort of the giant ATM for, we provide all of the funding for all of the cities here in Southern Nevada for their infrastructure projects. And, it's, I think we're in challenging times. We are all facing regulatory changes around regulations that affect diversity and inclusion programs. I've made it very clear to my staff that our values have not changed. We are who we are, what we stand for. Certainly don't need the federal government to tell us the right way to be. We want our community to be, for everyone to have a seat at the table. And so I'll share with you a number of years ago, again, as we're looking for ways to fund construction projects here in Southern Nevada, we had an opportunity to take to the ballot the ability to index fuel tax to inflation. If we wait for the federal government to solve our problems at the local level, we could be waiting forever. And so we knew that we were going to run out of money. It was going to be very constrained in terms of funding available just based on motor vehicle fuel tax and the 9 cents that we collect here in Southern Nevada. So the ballot passed, and we promised the community and we promised our elected officials that we wanted the money to stay local. And we had to have an intentionality around that. So this was back in 2015, 2016, we started a program called RISE, and that stands for Resources, Involvement, Support, and Education. And it was with the intentionality of ensuring that small, local, diverse businesses had an opportunity like everybody else, particularly around the bidding process and to become more competitive. And I'm proud to say that to date, we've certified over 115 small, local, diverse businesses here in Southern Nevada so that there's parity around opportunities. In many cities, you get a big construction company in there and they get all the bids, right? They've kind of got the science around it. And when I started in this business, I think years ago, I was usually the only woman at the table, and it was usually myself and a group of white men. That's what I saw. And so that doesn't reflect my community. I don't think it reflects the community, most communities around the United States. And so it was very important to ensure that every Southern Nevadan, particularly around local small diverse businesses, had an opportunity. And so again, it's a program that we're really proud of. Would certainly love to share. If anybody's interested, you can reach out to me directly and I can connect with our team so you sort of learn how we put that process together. It is, again, it's for our agency and in my role at the national level, what drives me is that transportation, it's more than buses. It's more than roads. It's more the signals. This is about the people. We're in the business of people. I say to folks here in Southern Nevada, again, very car-centric community, you rely on someone that relies on public transit. And so there's opportunity around ensuring, again, that we're moving our community, but we're also, because we are the roadway funding agency, we have a chance to ensure that the local small diverse businesses have an opportunity to compete and to ensure that this is their home and they're building wealth for their employees and for the community. So it's I just want to say thanks to Anne, to your chair. I've met her. She's it's a big wow as far as I'm concerned. I'll tell you, at our agency, I've said to our HR folks, I'm wondering if we're breaking the law because I keep hiring women. But at this point, we are 40%, at least half of our agency are female, including many engineers. I'm proud to say that our traffic management, again, we manage traffic for all of the cities here in Southern Nevada. We manage the roadways for NDOT, so our freeway system. And the woman that we have 2 female engineers that they're running that whole program, and I'm very proud of that because they came up at a time when, for those of you that are on the call that are female engineers, it's still few and far between. 78% of our female employees of the RTC identify as female minority. So again, we make a very conscious effort to ensure that we're bringing our community to the table to do the work on behalf of the community. And so I want to thank NABWIC for what you all do. I think it's important, again, particularly around some of the themes coming out of the current administration. And so I think this many times is ensuring that whether if there's semantics involved at the federal level, we want to win. And if that means that we've got to do some workarounds, we're going to do that, because I think it's important that at the end of the day, we're in this for the right reason. The right reason means ensuring that everyone has an opportunity to advance, particularly around construction, which has been predominantly a male run organized industry. So I'm just proud of all of the women that continue. I know that as a woman in my 60s, I certainly stand on the shoulders of the women that came before me. I remember as a small young girl watching women protest in Washington, D.C. for equal rights. And so I think that we've come a long way of a lot. I think there's a lot more we can do, but I think that by ensuring that we at our local level, we start at the local level to ensure there's representation that matters. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, MJ. Just very full hearing your story and the advocacy. It's not easy to lead from the front and get out there and say things that are not always what everyone wants to hear. And I think that speaks to the success that you've had. And I know that all of our agencies in our world, we benefit from having diverse perspective and lived experience. So one of the things that you said that really hit home for me is your socioeconomic background and the fact that you relied upon public transportation and transit. And it's important to have those lived experiences present at the decision-making table so that we can make sure that we're creating solutions that are going to be inclusive of all of our community and stakeholders. And so we just want to thank you for being a trailblazer. Thank you for accepting this recognition as Women in Spotlight. And we just encourage you to continue being the awesome advocate and ally that you are. So again, thank you so much for being here. And we look forward to continuing to build our relationship with you as we work together to advocate for equity within the transit and transportation industry.
Marlene, and again, anyone can reach out to me directly. I'll connect with my team on how we put together our RISE program. Again, very proud that we have been able to ensure that our local small diverse businesses get an opportunity to be competitive, to win bids, and to be sustained as very important businesses in our community. So it's an honor, first of all, to have met Anne. And I'm a big fan of Compto. I had a chance to go to their conference in New York. It's good work. It's going to take probably more of an effort on all of our parts. Again, given sort of given what's coming out of the White House, and I think we're stronger together. And I think that that voice matters, and so sometimes it really starts at the it's one small step in front of the other, and that is ensuring again that there's diversity of thought, experience. Everyone has a history, and all that matters. That makes us a better organization and a better industry. So again, it's just been an honor, and I want to thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Again, thank you. We are into our 2025 NABWIC Virtual $1 Billion Transit Luncheon. And we are at the point now in which we're going to take a group photo. So anyone who is going to be joining us in person or virtually, understand that we always get a group photo. And if you're present, then you're supposed to be in the photo. Okay. So we encourage everyone to turn your camera on. Our wonderful producer, Victoria, will give us some instructions because we'll have to snap a few shots because we have a great attendance today. But please do turn your camera on. And then in the chat, MJ will share her contact information. I did see someone in the chat say they want to be able to get in contact with MJ. And so we'll make sure that you have that information. All right, Victoria.
Thank you, Tylene. All right, so we'll give you just a moment to cut your camera on, and I will do a countdown and give you a chance to hold your smile and then give you a chance to shake it out. We might do it a few times. All right, so first group, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, hold, please. Excellent, got it. Next group, take a little break. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, see some cameras coming on. All right, hold please. Excellent. We'll take one more. 3, 2, 1, and hold. Excellent. Thank you. Back to you, Talene.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. So now it's time for opportunities and relationships. So if you are visiting or you're participating in this virtual $1 billion luncheon, and this is your first NABWIC virtual $1 billion luncheon, please raise your hand. This means that you may not be familiar with what's coming up next because you think, how do you network and build relationships online? Well, we found our sweet spot here with this virtual $1 billion luncheon. You are going to have the opportunity to meet some new people. In a few moments, you will enter into a breakout room where you will be joined by 4 or 5 of the participants on this line that could be from anywhere across the country. And we are asking that you give your 30-second introduction. So that means you are going to share your name, your business, and what you do, and make sure you share your contact information in the chat. We want to ensure that each and every person that has joined us today has an opportunity to expand their professional network. And the great thing about this being a transit luncheon is that the likelihood that you're going to be connecting with someone within the industry is very great, and we want you to stay connected. So that means share your LinkedIn, share your phone number, share your email, and please be sure don't let this be the only time that you meet them. Make sure you stay connected, reach out to them, follow up, schedule another Zoom introduction if that's the case, and connect so that you can identify how to grow your businesses together. So Victoria will be putting us into our breakout sessions, and we want you to meet some new people. So don't be shy.
Breakout rooms are opening now, and we will bring you back shortly. So you don't have to do anything. We will bring you back. All right, opening the breakout rooms now.
All right. Well, I am very excited. I feel like we've got some phenomenal attendance today. The participation and support from Compto, as well as MJ from out in Nevada, our Woman in Spotlight. I am truly encouraged and excited about the speakers that will be presenting here today. So, Ms. Ann McNeil, just want to thank you again for your visionary leadership in founding this organization and creating the virtual $1 billion luncheon as a pathway and an opportunity for growing businesses to be able to get ahead of the money and identify opportunities in which they can participate in capital improvement projects.
All right. Thank you so very much, Talene. Just want to remind all of our listeners who may be listening live or at some point in the future, because we do know that this is evergreen. And so if you're
Thank you,
wondering,
Ann, for that introduction.
we are not sure that is. We're the National Association of Black Women in Construction. My name is Ann McNeil, and with me is our president, Tylene Henry. And the vision of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, I always want to remind us of this, Tylene, is to continue to build lasting strategic partnerships with first-rate organizations and individuals that will continue to provide groundbreaking and innovative solutions, not just for Black women in construction, but for all people in the construction industry, but especially Black women and our respective communities. So, Tylene, when you made that comment, it just reminds me, why do I help to elevate women in construction to go to the next level? I can only do that by going to the next level. Does that make sense, Tylene?
Absolutely.
And by going to the next level, I have to physically go, whether from LA to Detroit to Michigan. I mean, wherever it is, I have to go from ASHTO to SASHTO to COMPTO to FTBA, and you name all of them per industry. And so I'm very excited, like you said, to be able not just to have MJ to come to us from APTA. And like she said, we met at an after conference, but also many of our sponsors who sponsor each of our billion-dollar luncheons. And those of you that's listening to us, we host this event virtually every month except for July and December per industry, from transportation, aviation, ports, energy, public-private partnerships, healthcare, facilities, transit, and so many, many other places. And guess where I'd like to go next, Tylen? You want to take a guess?
Let me know. I
Space.
don't say
Space.
that again.
Outer
Spain?
space. Outer space. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we've been talking about it now for 2 or 3 years, and prayerfully next year in 2026, we will have convened the resources to do our first out of space billion-dollar luncheon. And so those are just some thoughts, Tylene, about who we are, what we do, and actually who we serve. And it's just very exciting to have the opportunity to serve.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Miss Ann. These opportunities and relationships that are being built are significant. And I am so appreciative of having the opportunity to join NABWIC's executive board and board members and the meeting that we had with the U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg just a few years back. And it really speaks to the power of the voice of Black women in construction. Having had the opportunity to participate in historical contributions to support the equity and infrastructure opportunities. And so I'm just appreciative of your leadership. I'm appreciative of your trust and confidence in me to lead as the national president. And I'm just overwhelmed with excitement about the opportunities to come, because again, I know that oftentimes everyone's concerned about all of the rulings as it pertains to the DBE programs. But one thing that we know has never changed, and that is that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so we will continue to encourage our members and our stakeholders to continue to build relationships and continue to grow and move your business forward, and to be that voice, and to not just talk about problems, but work on collaborative and inclusive solutions together. And so I'm very encouraged, and I'm so excited about the uptick in membership. And so I'm encouraged today that we'll have some new members to join the National Association of Black Women in Construction as we continue to move forward our businesses and advocate for equitable contracting opportunities for Black women in construction, as well as those training opportunities for folks within the communities that we serve.
But Tylene, I just also want to just mention before we start wrapping up, to invite everyone to the legislative conference that's held by the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation in Washington, D.C. every year during the month of September. And so we will be there, and we're going to put that information in the chat. Actually, we should probably do that right now, Talene, on YouTube. So those who are listening in the future, when they hear this, they will know that it doesn't matter at what point they go to, listen to this. They can also go to, the Congressional Black Caucus website or the NABWIC website, which is nabwic.org, and you can register to join us because we have moved dates. And for those that have come in the past, we normally host our private reception on Thursdays, and this year on a Thursday in September during the caucus week. And this year in 2025, we're hosting it on the Wednesday. And I want to keep saying that because so many people are accustomed to joining us, Tylene, on that Thursday. And we want to make sure that they know in advance to get your flights early. Join us on Wednesday at the City Club of Washington on 13th for our Congressional Black Caucus reception that we're hosting. Thank you.
Excellent. And then I will see here if I can get to the chat on our virtual meeting and ensure that we put that there. So those that are joining us live via YouTube will have an opportunity to connect and hopefully join us in Washington, D.C. on, again, that's Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. We do encourage you to join us and take advantage of all of the opportunities to build new relationships as well as collaborate to discuss solutions as well as best practices that are working across the country within our industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so for me, Tylene, I think this is my 20th year, 20 plus year attending this particular caucus legislative event in Washington. It's more than 20 actually. But when our Congresswoman here, Congresswoman Meeks, was elected to Congress many years ago, we traveled to Washington with her, and I was a very young person, Tylene, at the time, and that was my first introduction to the congressional activities, and it has just been amazing to have been able to join since then. And I see we have Deborah Thompson on camera with us, our President Emeritus. Good afternoon, Deborah Thompson. Thank you for joining us. Get your camera on, your beautiful smile. You're on mute,
Good
Deborah.
afternoon, and thank you so very much, Ann McNeil, for all that you do for the industry, for Black women, and it's just amazing. Thank you for acknowledging me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I saw that smiling face there. And so we just want to remind everybody, and Deborah knows from past experiences, that when you can elevate your thoughts about how you see yourself, when you think about the Congressional Caucus Week that will be held in Washington, D.C., how can you not believe when you are in the midst of over 100,000 Blacks legislatively from all over the world? So as everybody comes back to join us, I just want to repeat what I was sharing about the Congressional Black Caucus in Washington. We will be there. Tylene was giving us the dates. It's September the 24th, I think you said, Tylene. And so we're hosting our NABWIC reception at the City Club of Washington, D.C. on 13th. And it is free. We want to encourage all of you, please plan to join us. We did move from Thursdays to Wednesdays. So I want to keep saying that so we all remember. And so Tylene, we'll turn it back over to you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you.
Excellent. Welcome back, everyone. We are excited and encouraged that everyone has met some new people and has had an opportunity to expand their network. And again, this is one of the benefits of being a member of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. How many times can you grow your professional network like this and not leave your home or your job site or your office on a lunch break? Okay, so I just want to thank you all again for being here. I would like to welcome one of our members to do our new member call to action and recognition. And I believe that is going to be Melissa Story or Mia Ferguson. Okay, Mia Ferguson. I thought it was you, but I was trying to follow instructions. Mia from Dallas, Texas.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We are excited to have you here with us. I am a part of our national membership committee. And right now, I just want to know if you have seen what NABWIC is doing and you are ready to align yourself with us and ready to become a member, if you would please just put your hand up, raise your hand, and we will get you moved to a new space. I'm going to be in that space and we are going to just talk about membership and help you get onboarded today so that you can join us in the work that we're doing to carry out the vision and mission of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. So please don't be shy, raise your hands, and our producer will help get us moved over to another space. And I hope that we get an opportunity to bring you on board as a new member for the National Association of Black Women in Construction. I see you, Henry family. Thank you so much. I'll get moved over. Do we have another taker? Let's go. Come join us at NABWIC.
I see a hand raised, Miss Jones. Okay, all right. And if you want to try Audrey, well, Audrey, all right. Welcome to the family.
Yes.
This is a phenomenal time to engage with this organization. We know we've got several people that join us for these virtual $1 billion luncheons consistently, and we thank you for that. And we encourage you to join us as a member of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. In the chat, there's also a link for membership. And if you are interested in joining the National Association of Black Women in Construction, again, you do not have to be a woman. You do not have to be a Black woman. You just need to be an ally and supportive of increasing equitable opportunities for folks to seek contracting opportunities. And so again, we've got Rodney in the Zoom here. He is one of our national membership co-chairs, and we thank him for his leadership and support. And so please understand that we are an inclusive organization and you are welcome to join. And so again, if you are interested in membership, please put up your hand, put something in the chat, and we will make sure that we can get you informed of how to go about getting that done today. And thank you again, Mia, for your leadership and supporting us in providing an opportunity for those that are interested in joining the National Association of Black Women in Construction to be welcomed with open arms. We'd also love to have you again join us at our Congressional Black Caucus reception, which is another opportunity to engage with us and our powerful networks. Ms. Ann McNeil, Madam Chair.
Well, I only raised my hand because Betty raised her hand and she's not moved yet. So I wasn't raising my hand to be spotlighted. I just want to make sure we support her. She raised her hand to be moved for membership. And so just want to ask if we could please move her. Thank you.
All right, excellent. All right, so I would like to now introduce Miss Tiffany Cherry, who is our Charlotte area leader, and she is the owner of New Seasons Construction. Tiffany will be introducing our speaker.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for getting joined in. And I am waiting for the slideshow to come up real quick. All right, so today for our first speaker, we have Mr. Troy Creasy. He is manager of the Design and Construction branch of the North Carolina Department of Transportation Rail Division. Troy is a manager once again at the North Carolina Department of Transportation Rail Division and serving as the Division Chief of Railroad Design and Construction Engineer. He leads the team delivering rail infrastructure projects, developing engineering standards, and overseeing the statewide rail signals program. Before joining NCDOT, Troy held engineering management roles at CSX Transportation, guiding infrastructure projects across the Mid-Atlantic. A licensed professional engineer and graduate of North Carolina A&T University, Troy champions safe, efficient, and transportation in the North Carolina area. He actively serves on professional boards, including COMTO North Carolina Executive Board and several AREMA, ASHTO, NCUT, CD, and TRB committees, advancing best practices and safety in rail engineering. Please welcome Mr. Troy Creasy, and I thank him so much for getting joined in while he's actually on another conference this week. So, Troy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Special thanks to Madam Chair, Miss Ann McNeil. Miss Tiffany Cherry's been great knowing you this short time. I'm looking forward to many conversations in the future. And special thanks to NABWIC for having me here today. It's truly a pleasure to be able to present to you all. So with the presentation, should I share my presentation or are you going to manage it for me? I can share it. I'm prepared.
Yeah,
to do that.
you
Okay.
can share if you would like,
Perfect.
but we have it as a backup just in case.
Okay. Perfect. Let me know when everybody can see my screen.
We can see it starting to come up and perfect. We see it now. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. All right, so just a little bit about me. Great introduction, but I noticed I was so glad to have representation from Compto HQ on this call. A quick plug for Compto NC. I didn't know if I'd have an opportunity or if it was appropriate to bring up on this call. Not knowing how the dynamic of NABWIC. However, I will say Compton, North Carolina is extremely active, and we are a statewide chapter, Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh, the coastal areas. We're looking to engage DBEs any way we can. We want to provide access to opportunity within NCDOT and with all the public agencies across the state of North Carolina, your CATS, your GTA, your Go Triangle. We want to do as much matchmaking as we can between some of the large primes so that they can better achieve their DBE goals for our projects across the state. And we believe Compto, North Carolina represents probably the best opportunity across the state on the public side to help meet some of those goals. And I'll provide some information later. But we have a supportive services opportunity with NCDOT's Office of Civil Rights. So, as long as you are a certified DBE with NCDOT, and Tiffany Cherry is a certified DBE, I learned just a few minutes ago, we can pay your Compto membership for North Carolina as a part of being a certified DBE through supportive services. So truly, we believe that, alliances with NABWIC and other similar groups, WTS and others, there's a multiplier effect where we can reach a lot of the same groups, but actually have more reach and provide a greater value for everyone. So with that, I'll go ahead and get into my mission. NCDOT Rail Division's mission is the safe and efficient movement of people and goods on North Carolina's railroads through freight and passenger safety programs, supporting job creation and economic growth. One of the major projects we'll talk about is the Raleigh to Richmond high-speed rail project, where we're rebuilding the railroad and building new railroad between Raleigh and Richmond, Virginia. But what that really is an improved link between Charlotte in the Northeast region. All right, so here's rail. A look at the economic impact of rail across North Carolina. You'll notice that rail is all over the state, and where there's rail, there's economic opportunity. Some of it, the freight railroads, they have their own economic development projects. we deal directly with the railroad. So if folks have general questions about how do I, how do I interact with the railroad and get in on some of the contractor lists that the railroads have to be a certified supplier. I can help out with that because we interface with them all the time, where we partner with the railroads on economic development projects. We have rail in 88 of the 100 counties that North Carolina has, and we like to tout that we work with all the railroads. So we have two major railroads, CSX Norfolk Southern. We have Amtrak that operates through the state. And then we have 24 short line railroads. They act kind of more like a regional railroad, kind of tying, smaller areas into the national rail system. And then within that, we have freight projects where, we have, transload. So basically all that is taking stuff off a truck, putting it on a train and vice versa. We support the ports. Both of our ports, Morehead City, Wilmington, are rail served. We're very fortunate to have that. And everything in between. 88,000 jobs are supported directly by rail. And that includes 860 where they are rail served through an industrial spur on the railroad. And I mean, again, this slide alone is probably 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. All right, so real quick, passenger rail in the state of North Carolina, which is going to lend itself. This success is actually what speaks to the importance of the Raleigh to Richmond project that I'm going to talk about. But there's never been a better time for passenger rail in the 35-year history of North Carolina. Just last year, we had 720,000 people that rode the train in North Carolina between Raleigh and Charlotte, not including the passenger routes that actually run through the state. One of the things about that that's important is that we are 55% higher than we were in 2019 pre-COVID, where you've seen many transportation systems across the country struggle to get their ridership back. We've exceeded our historic ridership, which 2019 was the highest year, by 55% post-COVID. And already this year, we are 10% over that historic amount that we had last year, on pace to be the most historic year in terms of overall ridership for our rail service. With that, that's created a new demand. We want to run more trains. We want to run faster trains, and we want to have more stations, more opportunities for people to get on the train because we're successful. Again, here you guys can look, 2020, 179,000 people on the train. Again, last year, 720,000. We actually expect this year we may end up closer towards 900,000. All right, so the Raleigh to Richmond, this is our $1 billion project to contribute for today's call, is what we refer to as the S line. The railroads like to go by letter names, so the S line is the historic name of the North-South Railroad between Washington, D.C. and Florida. This S line is unique in that the railroad, CSX in this case, ripped it up in 1988, kept the right-of-way intact, and then moved a majority of their freight service towards eastern North Carolina along the I-95 corridor. 1992, Congress looked at this abandoned line as an opportunity at some point in the future. That's how long this project's been going on, so it's good to be so close to construction. They looked at that abandoned line as an opportunity for high-speed rail at some point to better connect Washington, D.C., Raleigh, and Charlotte to the rest of the country. All right, so we've been very successful in the rail division. We're really good at getting money. Lately, with the changes at USDOT, we can get the awards. Sometimes the obligation of the money, actually putting the money in the bank, is something we've been working through. Though we've been told by the Duffy administration that we should have our $1.09 billion hopefully in the bank within the next 45 days. Other money that we've received, we got $47.5 million to buy the rail line from CSX. That's very important, having a public ownership stake in our project and not having to build on CSX's right away. allows us to control our schedule and determine our own path where we want our project to go. Project development is led by the state and working with CSX, not the other way around. More significantly, from a regional perspective, that's going to put the entire rail line between Charlotte and DC completely under public control in some form, which is good. What that really means is more trains. The trains are going to be on time. For those who have experienced some of the delays on some of the lines that are shared with freight trains, they're going to be faster. And the equipment, we've got new equipment on the way as well. Related to this call, we'll also talk about corridor ID. That's a 500,000 grant for 7 unique corridors. I'll talk about it more. What it represents for this call, most importantly, is a historic investment in rail outside of the tracks between Raleigh and Charlotte. So what that represents is an expansion from the mountains to the coast, over 500 miles of new passenger rail routes across the state. All right, so real quick, Raleigh to Richmond, for the state, it's going to represent $1.3 billion in economic output up through the start of service. So not talking about economic output beyond the start of service. So that's important. 8,000 jobs, mostly in construction, and then $42.5 million in state and local tax revenues. So right now, one of the things we've been very intentional about is making sure that we are spreading the work around. So, at a high level, we're partnering with the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority. They've got to build everything north of the state line. Amtrak, they're going to service this new rail line once we get it in service. Virginia Department of Transportation, CSX, and USDOT. You guys will see a lot of familiar firms up here. We've been very intentional about scoping the project. Instead of just, scoping 162 miles of rail, we've decided instead to scope the project in much smaller segments so that we can provide the maximum amount of opportunity to the state's industries. So 3 years ago, we did an industry day as we started the design process, where we were able to bring everybody who was interested in our project, everybody who had signed up through our email list, which I'm going to include a link during this call. Everybody was able to come in, get the most up-to-date information directly from DOT Rail Division, and we were able to discuss next steps and talk about the RFP that was going to come out for design at that time. Similarly, there's going to be an RFP. We're going to do the same thing. Everybody who signs up for our communications list, via the link that I'm going to provide in the chat, we're going to send out an email blast to the entire industry. We don't want anybody not to know who's interested in our project about our RFP for 60% in final design and also construction. One of the things that's going to be interesting that we haven't decided yet, but it's likely we're probably going to have to explore alternative delivery methods. So design build or CMGC or progressive design build. Why that's important for this call is we may go to construction much sooner, even as we're finalizing some aspects of design. So where, on some of the schedules we've had, traditionally, we may be 3 years out for construction, but there are certainly parts of the project that are ready for construction. They're shovel ready now. So, receiving those communications of the intent of our delivery method for the Raleigh to Richmond project is important to make sure that everyone's getting that information at the same time. Another thing we're doing, mobility hubs, right? So we're building a new train network, an improved train network. Historically, you build a station, folks drive to the station, they park, they get on a train, they go where they're going, and then they figure out, they get somebody to pick them up or they catch a cab. What we're doing right now at NCDOT, we're partnering with the communities to have community-led development plans that are backed with FTA funding to build it all the way through. We're doing more than stations. We're calling them mobility hubs. Mobility hubs, and there are going to be RFPs that come out for this as well to construct aspects of these mobility hubs, is where we're looking at every single type of transportation unique that fits the need of the community, whether that's some of the mopeds, electric bikes, electric cars, buses, microtransit, any type of transportation that the community is deemed as being essential to its future growth. We're working to make sure we have station facilities that put all of these different modes of transportation in one place so that we can maximize the impact of our station and get the most use out of them and actually make it accessible to all users. So that if you go someplace, you got about 5 or 6 different options to get to that first mile, last mile destination that you're trying to get to. Rail equipment was real quick. Our trains now, we like to call them vintage. We've refurbished really old locomotives, and we've been really scrappy as a department, trying to be, good stewards of taxpayer dollars. We got old rail cars, and it feels like, you're in a movie almost. Like the rail cars are really nice. We refurbish them as much as we can. We may still keep this equipment, but right now we've got a major order to get brand new equipment, similar to what you see in Europe, or if you've been in Florida, been on Brightline, or been in the San Francisco area with Caltrain. We're going to modernize our entire fleet to improve the experience for everyone. Talked about it already real briefly, but this is a better explanation of that expansion, that 500-mile expansion of our rail network that's been approved by the Federal Railroad Administration for expansion. So real quick, that's new rail service between Salisbury and Nashville. That's Raleigh to Wilmington, the train to the beach. That's Kings Mountain, so the western Charlotte suburb. Some folks like to call that the casino train because of the casino in Kings Mountain. Raleigh to Fayetteville, which is a big deal. Fort Bragg is in Fayetteville. It is the largest by personnel military installation in the United States. Being able to tie them better into the rail network at Raleigh is a big priority. Winston-Salem, the biggest city in North Carolina without rail service, 265,000 people will be tied to rail. And then high-speed rail, we're planning it. It may be a long way off, but if money starts to fall out the sky, 220-mile-per-hour high-speed rail, we're doing the design between Charlotte and Atlanta. No new news on that. There's a lot going on with USDOT, but as information comes out, we can make sure that folks are able to receive those updates. Real quick, we do, for folks that follow us on social media, we do special trains all the time, State Fair, US Open, NASCAR, and any other major economic event that we can support with rail, we're open to it. So, within your communities, if there's an opportunity to use rail in a way that enhances the event, let us know. Let me know specifically, and that's something we can run down through Rail Division. Talked about Western NC Rail. That's just some more information on it, guys, just in the interest of time. I know the presentation's out there, but that just talks about the logistics in terms of what it's going to take to set up Western North Carolina Rail. CID, this is the expansion of rail. Tylene, am I coming up on time? I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
CID, expansion of passenger rail in North Carolina. Here are some of the firms we're working with today. I mentioned that we have 7 different corridors that are going to be expanded. So you can imagine this is going to be multiplied by 7. We're very intentional at giving opportunities to different firms at Rail Division. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get some of the work so that we can, so we're spreading out opportunity, but also for firms that aren't necessarily used to doing the rail work, we're able to get them some of that experience so that we can come back to them in the future. Short line projects. This is something, if you guys know, you have short lines in your area, these short lines, just like the major railroads, they have their own economic development projects. If you're interested in getting into the conversation, more than happy to help facilitate some of those contacts. Most of these projects are led by the short line companies. So it's good to have a contact there. We're just a funding agency for the most part, and we let the railroads do their own contracting, but we monitor that contract for each one that we give out. Right now, the rail division, we're managing over $1 billion within our within the STIP, our State Transportation Improvement Program. That's not including the Raleigh to Richmond project. Once that is fully funded, remember I said it was awarded, it's not obligated. So hopefully within 60 days, we can bring this up to $2 billion. So rail division is extremely active. We only have a handful of folks really that are making all this happen. But again, we work in concert with DOT OCR to make sure that we're, providing those contract opportunities for DBEs in a very intentional way. Hurricane Helene response. We've got folks, at our Office of Civil Rights that can, they've been very intentional, that office with DOT, in making sure that we're highlighting the opportunities in Western North Carolina. I know there's still a ton of opportunities. There's still a lot of work to be done out there. So I'm more than happy to put folks in contact with Lisa Wilson with OCR and others that can get you in the information chain as they provide updates, because you can always contact them directly, but they do workshops and different things. They're very intentional about going to each division and providing, bringing in the DOT people responsible for doing the contracting, and then some of the major firms that already have some of the contracts. There just aren't enough people out here. There aren't enough trucks. There aren't enough bodies to do the work. I mean, Hurricane Helene represents $5 billion of direct damage to our infrastructure in the western part of the state. We still have several years worth of work. And we've been very intentional in making sure that our entire industry is aware of what the opportunities are and being very intentional about reaching out to our DBEs. Again, Western NC, real quick on this slide, the railroads were devastated. We lost, basically Norfolk Southern was severed from Tennessee, and they were severed from the rest of the central part of the state. CSX lost 60 miles of track, just vanished, that were washed away as a part of the historic flooding. And other railroads had issues, and DOT's been, we've assisted the major railroads as much as possible, being that, the railroads of our state are very much a backbone of our economy here in the state. Over 40% of our freight in North Carolina at some point touches a railroad. Again, here's a map showing the areas of devastation there. Everything that's highlighted was out of service for several months. And we are pleased to announce that the railroad, other than the area there just to the east of Asheville on Norfolk Southern, where you kind of cross into the Blue Ridge Mountains, they've got about 20 miles or so worth of rebuild to do there. It's active, it's going to happen. And then CSX has said that they're going to completely reopen that 60-mile, well, it's 20 miles now, swath of track that was completely destroyed. They're going to have that back in service sometime after Labor Day, running some of the first trains, which is good news for all the parties involved in Western North Carolina. With that concludes my presentation. I'm open for any questions you guys have. I don't know if I need to wait till the end, or if I can. I'm more than happy to take them now.
Absolutely. We can take questions now. So if you would like to, please, if you have questions, and thank you so much, Troy. We truly appreciate you making yourself available to share these phenomenal opportunities with our members and our guests. And we just appreciate you being willing also to take questions. So if anyone has questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And then as well, if you'd like to raise your hand, if we have an opportunity, we will do that. Tiffany, would you like to address questions in the chat?
Yes, I will.
Excellent.
And I will say, I did have a quick question. So when it comes to going into Virginia as part of the work in the future, so do companies who are DB certified here in the state of North Carolina have the opportunity to cross over once they do have, work in the Virginia side as well, or how would
Yeah.
that look?
That's a great question. The Virginia Passenger Rail Authority has a program called SWAM that does the same thing as our DBE programs in North Carolina. So what we can do, I can put you in contact with my counterpart across the border, and they're doing the same things in Virginia, maybe slightly better than us at times with engaging the DBE community. But it's certainly something that they're very active with. Again, that program's called SWAM.
Swam. Okay, sounds good. And so we do have a question that popped in. It says, well, first of all, it says, thank you, Troy. When will the initial design of the S line from Raleigh to Richmond begin? Current phase, and when will the 30% design start? Next phase start?
That's a great question. So we actually started 30% design, excuse me, about a year ago. And so we won a $73 million grant from the FRA to begin 30% design. And we started that design with $7 million of state money to match the federal award. Problem was we didn't get the obligation. So that's as I mentioned before, we're about 10 to 15% with our design for the most complicated section just outside of Raleigh. Assuming we get the FRA to obligate those funds that we've already been awarded. And it's unusual not to have obligated funds after you get an award like that, but that's just the world. We're in a weird world with that stuff right now. We're working through it. Assuming we get that obligation of the award, we should have everything wrapped up on the 30% design within 6 to 9 months.
Awesome. All right, let's see if any other questions. Can you share whether electrical trade packages will be a part of these projects, and if so, what stage?
That's a great question. For Raleigh to Richmond and all the other corridors, with the exception of Charlotte to Atlanta, that's all going to be non-electrified. Now, I don't want to go too deep into it, but the main reason for that is that when you electrify track, when you have your electric catenary, those little power lines that you guys see over there, it's called the catenary, that we also share these tracks with freight railroads. So the freight railroads that are responsible for the signal system, sometimes there's electrical interference that happens with the signal systems that the freight railroads use. So they don't like them at all. So in order to advance these projects with our freight partners, right now we're not planning on these projects aren't going to be electrified. We certainly would like to have them electrified, but we are designing our projects in a way that does not preclude electrification at some point should policy change in the future.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that. And then there are some questions that are posted, and this is just in general about the PowerPoint slides and presentation. So this is being broadcasted on YouTube, so the video and the recordings will be there and available. And then the other question is, how do people get subscribed to the email updates? And I think that's going back to you mentioning getting subscribed and being able to get updates for the upcoming rail projects and things like that. If perfect. I see you just.
Yes, I just put in the chat. I already had it lined up before the presentation. So there it is. Please, if you're 1% interested in our project, please go to the web link I just put in the chat and put your company's information on the contact us. It's a real contact us. All it does is really just put you on the email list so that you get the emails that go out when it goes out to the entire industry. And also, if you have a generic question too, I am a point of contact now for everyone on this call. But if you have questions besides me, that goes to all of the project leaders on the project. We all get it at the same time as well.
Sounds good. Thank you for that. And I will say that Troy is very responsive. He's on top of things. He gets, back to you very quickly. So definitely feel free to reach out to him. And once again, Troy, thank you so much. We'll definitely be in contact soon. Enjoy your time at your conference this week, and we'll definitely get you back on another presentation as well.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, Madam Chair.
I could not resist. We are a membership organization, and I would just like to ask everybody who's on here, who's a member and not a member, can you put yes in the chat if you have received a benefit today? And the reason I'm asking you to do that is because we set a goal today to get a certain number of members today. You see, this is the tip of the iceberg. We follow up with these individuals when we host these events. We meet through our subcommittees, and I'm glad Dr. E's on here. And I just really want to challenge each of us to think about where else can you go and get the level of information, especially those of you who are not members, for free. And so I really want you to put in the chat if you received any kind of benefit, because it helps us to understand what's working and what's not working. I also would like to challenge you to put in the chat, who else would you like to see us bring to you? What other industries would you like to see us bring to you? We're volunteers also. We have no paid staff, but I really want to continue to show the benefit and value of membership. Our membership is only a $500 investment. And as many of you know, especially if you're ladies, we invest more than that on, some other things. And if you're guys, you might invest more than that taking your significant other out to dinner. So please consider becoming a member of this phenomenal organization, but not just a member. Get involved. And as the founder, I just could not resist saying that, because sitting here listening to him and knowing how he started his conversation about COPTO and NABWIC and the benefits and value of all three organizations, COPTO, NABWIC, and whether it's TRB or after any of those, this is an industry-focused opportunity for you to niche to be richer. And I just want to share that because this was a phenomenal presentation. Thank you, Tylene.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, so we are going to recognize our new members, but first we want to share a brief video because many of you have heard us mention the annual legislative conference that will be held in Washington, D.C. The National Association of Black Women in Construction, we have one of our 3 national meetings during this period of time. So on Wednesday, September 24th, we will have our National Strategic Planning meeting, which is for members and leaders within the organization. We'll as well be having a board meeting. That evening, we will be having our Congressional Black Caucus reception at the City Club of Washington, D.C. And so Victoria, our producer, is going to be queuing up and sharing some brief videos that share some of the experience and the excitement and the opportunity that come from engaging in this event. So want to definitely encourage all of our members, please put this on your calendar. We do have a room block. We hope that you will be there to join us so that we can discuss strategic planning and the growth of our organization, but as well so that we can connect with our elected officials. Each year at our Congressional Black Caucus reception, we are so pleased to have our state and as well our federal representatives to join us and supporting the advocacy and elevating the voices of Black women in construction, as well as advocating for equitable contracting opportunities. So Victoria, if you'd like to share that video, and then again in the chat, we'll drop the link to register for our reception.
guys doing? My name is Victor Harris. I am a business development manager for CMTS, family-owned business in construction, and excited to be here as part of the NABWIC team. NABWIC, National Association of Black Women in Construction, awesome group. Not just because of the work that they do helping minority women get their footing in the construction world, but because they open their doors to everybody. NABWIC was the first organization that I got a chance to come and talk to when I moved to South Florida. And they opened so many doors for me to be able to get to my first contract. And it didn't matter that I'm a medium-sized firm in an area that really focuses on small business. They're talking about being able to lift all businesses, all minorities, to be able to get to that next level. And I'm grateful and thankful for being in a room that is about lifting people up and helping people get to their best version of themselves.
Hi, so yes, I'm Georgie Howie, owner and founder of AC Adams Construction. This is my second year at the CBC conference and my second year as CBC chair. I am so grateful and honored to be the chair of this wonderful luxurious event. I'm so grateful and honored to be a part of NABWIC. I really love coming to meet the people and learn more about what they're excited about, learning more about how they wanted to connect with NABWIC, and learning more about how we can support them as an organization. I'm super grateful, thankful for everyone that comes each and every year. And it's great to just meet new people and learn about them, their businesses, and their passions. So we look forward to seeing you next year.
My name is Agosa Igbinoba, Dr. E, and I am the Education Committee Chairperson for the National Association of Black Women in Construction. I'm also a national board member as well as a South Florida board member, and I am so excited to be here. Again, this is my third CBC, and the first time I attended CBC was because of NABWIC, being invited to come up to DC and come to this very reception 3 years ago now. So this is my third one. I am having a great time, and I love coming to CBC with NABWIC. We have our strategic planning meeting, and then we have this wonderful reception where we get to meet and greet and interact with legislators as well as those coming from all over the country to the CBC, so we can do the good work of going back to our communities and developing them, developing this organization, and getting more Black women and minorities in construction. Woo!
I don't know about anybody else, but I can imagine some of you might be having FOMO right now, fear of missing out. And if that is the case, you are on point, okay? Because when I tell you the experience is unlike any other. This was, I think, the second national event that I had the pleasure of participating in when I became a member of NABWIC 7 years ago now. And I was just blown away about the access to my local, state, and federal elected officials. I was blown away about the opportunities to engage in conversation and networking in a relaxed, open, and welcoming atmosphere. It was amazing to see C-level executives from the major construction and engineering firms to come and engage with our members. We will have a VIP reception room, which will provide opportunity and access to some of our major sponsors, as well as some of those decision makers at the major construction and engineering firms, in which we seek to identify opportunities to collaborate and participate in some of these billion-dollar opportunities that we bring to you via Zoom for free. And so we want to encourage you to be a part of this, join our community, engage, and benefit from the value of the relationships. And we want to again thank our fearless leader, visionary, and founder, Ms. Ann McNeil, for paving the way. When I reach out to agencies, elected officials, oftentimes people know Ms. Ann McNeil and MCO Construction, a small company that has a large presence. And so we thank you for sharing those relationships with the organization and being a trailblazer to invite others to experience some of the success that you have experienced. So at this point, I would love to introduce or bring back to you Miss Mia Ferguson, who is the owner of Red Light Solutions, to do our new member recognition. If you're talking, you're on mute, Mia.
Hey, thank you so much, Tylene. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if Victoria has the information to share. Thank you so much, Victoria. So first, we would like to welcome and say a huge thank you to the people who have joined us since our last $1 billion luncheon. Huge shout out to Sierra Edmonds and the Michigan Workforce Development Institute. I think that relationship was worked on with our president, Ms. Tylene Henry, and we appreciate them joining as a public sector new member. We have our small business members. We thank the Houston and Dallas area are definitely blowing up. We have a renewal in the Houston area and 3 new members in that area. So thank you all so much for joining us. Next, we have a few people that have joined us, new members in the South Florida area. That area is continuing to boom, as well as Atlanta. So we thank all of our small business members who have joined us, and please take a opportunity to become one of our members so that we can shout you out on our next $1 billion luncheon. We, as an organization, we have member benefits that include our education. As several of us NABWIC members who have spoken today and talked about the opportunities that we held to our members and just being able to be in the know and participate in several of our events. Our National Education Committee, chaired by Dr. E, has we've had 24 training sessions with over 1,000 registrants over the last 12 months. So just, an opportunity to be in the know. If you're interested in joining us, please, there's our QR code to join NABWIC is on the screen. We also have a membership orientation and onboarding meeting, and that is held on our next one is going to be on September 9th. It's held on the second Tuesday of the month. So on September 9th will be our next one at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We encourage you to come and join us. If you like what you saw today in our event and you just want more information about NABWIC and, becoming a member and, just getting involved so that you can be a part of the vision and the mission that we're pressing forward for Black women in the construction industry, then please feel free to join us on September 9th. And you can find that information. We will be sharing that information with all who are joining today. Just a quick overview. This is a snapshot of what our membership base looks like. If you can see, 74% of our membership are small business owners and individual members. And that is just solely where our entrepreneurs are finding the benefit of joining NABWIC and being able to expand their business. So, we encourage you to join. We have our corporate membership is our second highest level, which is 14%. And, that is where corporately these companies have joined the initiative of NABWIC to continue to help us to grow not only our membership base, but their exposure to the people that we reach as an organization. And then we have our government sector and corporate employees as well that make up the remaining membership database for us as a whole. Next, we have our representation for NABWIC. As you can see, we are everywhere, and we are continuing to expand. What started in 1991 in South Florida and covering the state of Florida has now expanded. So as you can see here, we are definitely beginning to spread across the United States and starting new areas and chapters. Just to name a few, we have our South Florida chapter, we have Atlanta, we have Chicago. Those are chapters that have already been chartered. We are in the Los Angeles area. We're in Texas. So as you can see, if you don't see us there and you are able to join as a member at large, because that means that we will be coming to your area soon and just want to get some help with seeing that there's an interest for us to be in your area. And as I previously said, there are so many member benefits with our education. You have access to, networking. you have access to opportunities to, just by being a member of NABWIC. So if you are interested, please scan the QR code that's shown on the screen. Or if you have any questions that we can answer, you can reach out to us at membership@nabwic.org, and one of us will be happy to get back with you. I think that's it. Thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it back over to Tylene. Thanks, Tylene.
Excellent. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? We do have a few moments. Any questions about membership, the benefits of membership, our upcoming events? We want to direct your attention to the chat. We have shared our LinkedIn, NABWIC's LinkedIn. Please connect with us on LinkedIn. Please subscribe to us via YouTube. You have the opportunity to view historical virtual billion-dollar luncheons. And again, typically we are seeing these opportunities that are a part of master plans for these agencies that manage our infrastructure. So that means that these opportunities that are shared, you can go and listen to or watch a YouTube from 2 years ago, and that project still may not be coming out yet, or just now be coming to the public. And so we encourage you to connect with us and ensure that you do the follow-up, because it's one thing to have the information, it's another thing to act on the information. So again, we want to thank you for joining us. We want to encourage you to not only become a member of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, but to also engage with us. And we hope to see you on September 24th at 6 p.m. at Washington, in Washington, D.C. at the City Club. And we'll tell you, this event, we are at capacity every year. Every year we are at capacity for this event, and it is a place that you most certainly will want to be. Also save the date, October 8th, for upcoming opportunities, our virtual billion-dollar luncheon and technology contracting opportunities. That will be on October 8th. Please save that date. And we are always looking forward to bringing folks into the fold. So we are seeking volunteers. And I will tell you, our volunteers have an excellent opportunity to connect with our industry partners, as well as continue to build relationships and skill sets that will support the growth and development of their businesses. All right, Madam Chair, any closing remarks?
Tylene, just want to thank you and thank everybody for joining. We're going to continue to promote who we are, what we do, but really want to continue to elevate every single one of our guests here. But you need to connect and let us know how we can help you. So just want to say thank you, everybody, and everybody have a great day. Thanks.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. This concludes the Billion Dollar Luncheon. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. We'll be happy to tell you more about NABWIC as well. But if not, we thank you for joining us as a guest today, and we'll see you next time at our next Billion Dollar Luncheon.